Hey, is that folk music that you play there? What is that? How do you call that folk music?
I think it was Studs Terkel who asked Big Bill Brunzi, did he consider his blues music to be folk music? And Big Bill says, well, never heard no horse.
Don't hesitate. It could be your ticket to a new tomorrow.
Mississippi, Ralph. This is the way they played the guitar in 1942. A man called Willie Brown. Alan Lomax recorded him for the Library of Congress. And they called this the Mississippi Blues. He played this as his guitar break. The old boogie woogie. Robert Johnson would have been alive, he would be playing it like this. But he passed away 3 years before this was recorded. Boogie woogie again.
Yeah. All right, all right, all right. The show is Horses Sing Non-Event. My name is Ralph Litwin, and our guest is legendary guitar player Stefan Grossman.
Legendary, right? Old enough to be legendary.
Well, I consider it a compliment.
Oh, okay.
Didn't mean to imply anything about your age.
Right. Okay.
So, take us back to the beginning when you were a kid and you first got interested in guitar playing and this kind of music.
In, I guess, when I was 15 years of age, 1960 it would have been, I wanted to start playing guitar, and my brother suggested that I would go down to Greenwich Village, and there would be record shops there. And my parents said, oh, you get a record of Woody Guthrie, I'm sure you'll enjoy it. And I went to the record shop, and I saw a record of Woody Guthrie, but then on the other rack, there was records of people like Blind Lemon Jefferson, Barbecue Bob, Boll Weevil Jackson. I said, boy, who has names like this? And then there was one by Big Bill Brunsey. So I brought home a record by Big Bill, which on the other side had Josh White, and one record by Woody Guthrie. And Woody was going, I've been doing some hard trap. And I thought, that's nice, but I don't know. But Big Bill, the way he played, whoa, he did things like, when I heard that, this on the guitar. Imagine a 15-year-old hearing that. And I just had to learn how to play like that.
So you were hooked at 15?
Oh, hooked, solidly hooked. And then what would happen, I would go to record shops, and anything that had a black artist on it with a guitar, I would get it. Unfortunately, in those years, there weren't very many reissues of old 78s, the music from the 1920s and the 1930s, except for the Harry Smith anthology on Folkways Records. So that got me acquainted with some names like Charlie Patton, Mississippi John Hurt. And I don't know exactly how, but I met Sam Charters and Annie Charters, and they introduced me to other record collectors. And the record collectors around New York, Dave Freeman, who was living here at that time, Bernie Klatsko, Pete Whalen, and they were so generous with their time, and especially so excited to have a young kid that wanted to hear these records. Mm-hmm. And so they would start turning us on to all different types of sounds, all different types of white and black music. And it was just so exciting, and that just started me on a whole journey. And on that journey as well, I met Reverend Gary Davis and started going to his house and studying with him for 3 or 4 years, going up to the Bronx every weekend.
Before you met Reverend Davis, how did you go about teaching yourself off of the records?
Well, you would sit down. I would sit down and try to slow down the records. You know, these were 33s, and you would either put them on tape and then slow down the tape so everything was an octave lower. As well, at that time, there was Washington Square Park where we would get together on Sundays, we being a lot of other kids like myself, and you would have one group playing bluegrass, one group playing blues, one group playing old-time music, one group playing Peter, Paul, and Mary type of music. And then you had to stop playing music at sundown. And a lot of us would then drift over to either the Folklore Center or to Alan Block's sandal shop. And Alan Block's daughter had a beautiful young daughter named Rory Block. And we would play there, but what type of music could you play with someone who played bluegrass, someone who might have been a jazz player, one who plays pop? Well, the easiest music is jug band music. And so we started to play jug band music, and Rory, at a young age, she would be there playing guitar as well. And I got to be very friendly with Rory, and on the side we would start to listen together to old blues records, and she had incredible ears to be able to transcribe a lot of music, and we started to play together. As well as I was playing, we started a band called the Even Dozen Jug Band, which had people like David Grissman, John Sebastian, all these people who've gone on into the music business, Steve Katz, Josh Rifkin, you know, they've all, Maria Moldor, and it was quite something. You know, there's a lot of music. So we were learning from records and from people like Reverend Gary Davis, but then learning from each other, from all these influences that everyone had. They would rub off on each of us.
An exciting time, sounds like.
Oh boy, really exciting times. Yeah.
What else would you like to play for us?
Why don't we try playing one? As if we were after Washington Square Park, we can do Ain't Nobody's Dirty Business.
All right.
So here's an example of a tune that John Hurt used to play, but so did many other white and black musicians, and such an easy tune to play with a fiddle player, a harmonica player, mandolin player. Now, hey baby, get my letter, gonna come on back. I'm gonna treat you better. Ain't nobody's business if I do. I said ain't nobody's dirty business, ain't nobody's. Ain't nobody's business if I do. Come on now. I'm going down Pensacola, gonna get myself a money molar. Ain't nobody's business if I do. I said ain't nobody's dirty business, ain't nobody's. Ain't nobody's business if I do. Come on. One of these days I'm gonna wake up crazy, gonna grab my gun, might shoot my daisy. Hey baby, ain't nobody's business if I do. I said ain't nobody's dirty business, ain't nobody's. Ain't nobody's business if I do. I said ain't nobody's dirty business, it ain't nobody's dirty business. Ain't nobody's business if I do. I said ain't nobody's, ain't nobody's. Ain't nobody's business if I do. Let's take her home, Ralph. enjoy it. That's the type of tunes that you can play. You know, you learn solo guitar. This way of playing guitar is such a solo approach to the instrument, trying to have it all orchestrated. But tunes like this, you can play with other musicians. And in fact, what's amazing in the old days, where the South was very segregated, but the musicians, when they would play in bands, they were integrated. So you have white and black musicians playing with each other, and you get a wide variety of sounds happening.
Cool.
Yeah.
So you're a publisher of guitar videos
Well,
and an author and
right. Well, there's a reason, because I lived in, from 67 to 87, I lived in Europe. And for about 14 of those years, I lived in Italy, in Rome. And I would be touring all around, but when I would get back home, there wasn't stimuli, you know, things that I would want to learn. But I had plenty of musician friends from all over Europe as well as the United States. So I thought, well, what I'm going to do is to extend an idea that I used to have and record them doing audio guitar lessons, basically, so I could learn all their tunes. And fortunately, a lot of other people have been interested in learning them. And that's, over the years, has developed as technology has gone more into the DVD visual state. So we do audio, we do DVDs, we have instructional DVDs from people as varied as Larry Coryell, Chet Atkins, Pat Donahue, Duck Baker, John Renborn, who's a very close friend of mine. And then we have a whole other series called Vestipule DVDs, and those are historical and concert videos, so DVDs. So we put out any footage that we can find of Big Bill Broonzy, of Gary Davis, of Merle Travis, of Chet Atkins, and then we also record shows. We record DVDs of Pierre Ben Suzanne, Bob Brosman, David Bromberg, Hot Tuna. So we're doing all that. We're trying to also document what's happening today, because it's really a niche market as it was. But it's important to, you know, put it down so people don't forget about it.
I agree. That's
Yeah.
what we're doing here too.
Right, right.
So
Right.
for more information about those lessons and concert footage, they can go to guitarvideos.com.
Right, and they'll have, there's a whole bunch of stuff there. There's even a chat board called The Woodshed, and tons of clips that they can see things. There's downloads for free, and et cetera. So that's the place for especially fingerpicking guitar, all different varieties of fingerpicking guitar.
Great. Why don't you share with us another tune?
Okay, let me see if I'm going to get my picks out. This will be a little louder. This is sort of the way Reverend Davis, who was so influential on my playing and my thinking, he used to use picks, but the picks he would use were a huge thumb pick that he would put in the middle of his thumb, and a huge plastic finger pick. And he'd only play with 2 fingers. And when I asked him, why do you only play with 2 fingers? He said, well, that's all I need, which was just terrific. And he would say that you want to make the guitar sound like a piano. So here, he would play like a ragtime tune, sort of like this. Try to do the hot dogs. Jefferson would play a tune like this, but I'm playing it the way Reverend Davis would play it.
Woo! Very good, excellent.
Thank you. Thank you.
I don't suppose you'd care to share any anecdote about the Reverend Davis?
He was a wonderful, incredible teacher, and for me, he was sort of like a granddad. But at the same time, he was very competitive. One of the most interesting things looking back is that when I was, after about 2 or 3 years, I said, well, I think I'm going to go down and perform. And he'd say, no. I said, what are you talking about, no? He said, well, you can only go perform when I can tell you that it's okay to perform, because you're taking my name with you in public, which is pretty far out if you think about it. And he also was very competitive. So if I would come up on a Saturday morning and I'd say, oh, I just went down to the Gaslight and I saw a musician there, the first question he'd ask was, how many people were in the audience? No? To check whether, you know, there were more people than when he played there. Just terrific. And he always had the expression, bring your money, honey. So when people would call up for guitar lessons, he would say, well, it's $5 and bring your money, honey. Just a charming, just absolutely wonderful. When I brought Mississippi John Hurt up there, we had a really great afternoon together, talking, playing. And then the next day I went up there and I said, wow, wasn't that lovely? Doesn't John Hurt play the guitar just so wonderfully well? And Reverend Davis said, yeah, but it's old-fashioned picking. No? And I said, old-fashioned picking? Yeah, it's the way they used to do it, because he wanted to be up-to-date and modern. That was very interesting how he would do it. Let me do you a John Hurt tune, okay?
Great. Yeah.
I'll get a cape on here. This is one, again, that's interesting because
You've got just about 3 minutes to the end of the show. So.
Yeah. And this is a tune that was an old marching band tune, and he just grabbed one of the sections.
Creole Bell.
Yep. This is a tune you can play all over the world. People just love it.
It's a beautiful tune.
My Creole belle, I loves you well. My Creole darling, my Creole belle, my Creole belle, I loves you well. My Creole darling, my Creole belle. Every Sunday morning, I'm gonna call you mine. My Creole darling, my Creole belle, my Creole belle, I loves you well. My Creole darling. And he would pick it like this. wanted to play the piano, you might do this. Get everyone to sing. My Creole belle, I loves you well. My Creole darling, my Creole belle, my Creole belle, I loves you well. My Creole darling, my Creole belle, let's play it out.
Thanks for being our guest on Horses Sing None of It,
Oh, it's
Stefan.
my pleasure, Ralph.
We're going to have you back again for another show in a few minutes. We'll be taping it, and the folks at home will see it sometime in a week or two.
Okay, well, thank you very much. Thank
You
you.
want to take it out with a little tune?
Sure, let's see what we can do.